Well, we're back here with Peter, instructor and a studio owner of a discipline called Wushu. And we have explained what that basically is, which is not so much emphasis on hitting and self-defense and kicking somebody, even though you learn all those things, but the emphasis is more on creativeness, looking good, and aligning your mind and body perfectly, and why. But yet while doing all the kicks, so it's not just like, I don't know what you call that, meditating, sitting there and aligning your body, but sounds very, very interesting. I compared it to dango dancing and waltz dancing, where you can make up your own steps while following guidelines and look graceful like hell and be in very, very good shape without looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, Peter, who are, the bulk of your students? I mean, who is doing that? Who has an interest in that? Tell us a little bit about that. What are your students, where do they come from? What are they composed of?
Well, we have pretty much, students from anywhere. I mean, we have the oldest student is, I think, 65 years old. The youngest is 3 and 7 months, which is my daughter. And
I did see her kicking on my wife's dance floor. There was about 25 some people watching her, and frankly, they're still talking about it every so often.
She's very funny. So we have different people from everywhere. We have, moms who have children who are training, and we have high schoolers, college people who just got out of college and are working. I mean, pretty much anybody you can, any type of person you can find, we have them. I mean, we also have different programs, right, for different types of people. So, if you haven't exercised for a while, we put you into our fitness program first to get you in shape.
Okay. All right. Now tell me, what's a common denominator of, let's just say, the average, 8, 10-year-old all the way up to 15, 16-year-old? What's the average common denominator of those people, children, teenagers? Of kind of what are they after, what makes them wanting to enroll in your class, and what are they then raving about, going home waiting for that next training class to come again because they're excited?
Well, that's a good broad question. Let's see. So what I noticed at first, when people first come in, right, they're mostly about like, I want to have my kids learn some discipline because they're not listening to me.
That's the parent. I was actually talking about the student here now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the student.
Okay, that's good. I got that. So there's the parents who would like their children, and obviously martial arts are known to instill discipline. Yeah.
So so most of the time for the kids, I think it's just a kind of like a fun thing for them to do. For the teenagers, I think it's two things. They like to stay in shape. And They also like to have some time, when they come to the school, they see their friends, they have a good time. That's one of the things I heard the most from my teenagers. They kind of call it a place where, my school, they call it a place where they can be free because my rules are very simple. To progress, then, if you progress yourself, you could talk during the class. You can pretty much, there's certain things, I don't allow, but there can be pretty free and, how do you say that? So they come here and they really feel like they can express themselves, very well and don't have to kind of be fake because, maybe they're afraid of, the consequences I put on them or something.
Okay, all right. So it seems to have the side effect of, there's the I want to stay in shape, and yeah, it's true. Most of us are not really out there that we want to be fighting and macho kind of thing. I know they say that about boys and whatever, but it's probably not really true. I used to do judo as a kid, but that wasn't the purpose. There was all kinds of little things where, and come to think about it, meeting that group of friends, because you have your group of friends at school, you have your group of friends in some other sports club probably, and you have you want to create another group of friends and the karate, the martial art is a very, I wouldn't say special, but it's definitely a different type of group of people. You know, they talk about things. So you stay in shape. You have some friends. You have a hangout place. And you know you're doing something good for the body. A little more interesting, as I said, than being in the gym and just for 20 minutes standing on the treadmill or doing something else. Because for most of us, even for young people, that's kind of, it's boring. But here, because you said that your creativity comes in it, right?
Yes, correct. And like, you can pretty much go from white to black belt or something, and beyond, and there's, you're never bored because there's literally hundreds of different Wushu styles of moving. And they all totally different than other ones. I mean, there's different weapons of many, many kinds you could learn, and, it never really gets boring, as opposed to going to the weight room or yoga or something. I mean, it's great, but after a while you go you want something different. That's why, nowadays you see a lot of those different fitness programs come out where they really try to create with it as to make it different so that people would be interested in their program. Right. Because exercise is exercise and everybody knows it's good, but the problem is how do you commit yourself to it when it's boring? It's just kind of like people's daily jobs sometimes. People's daily jobs, they tend to get bored with it sometimes. So, you have to put some creativity into it to make it exciting. Right.
So you get the body shape, you get the social interacting, and you definitely have your own creativity. I think the part of own creativity, kind of doing something with it, whatever you want, and the satisfaction of being able to handle, as you said, a particular weapon. And, the guy on television, for instance, if you look look at the movie The Last Samurai with Mr. Cruz, he learns how to do that sword. Well, he learned it probably that type of style, on an art style, not on a really having a guy in front of him trying to kill him style. But at the same token, I can see where this is very interesting, kind of like, hey, I can do this, and I can flip that, and I can lift my leg, and I can stand like a swan, and whatever, making things up here. I can definitely see where this is very interesting. Okay, so I got it. Do people realize, be it the moms, the parents, or the people who physically doing it, that there is a long-term health benefit to it? And is there even one? I assume there is. That there got to be. But do they realize that also?
I think some people do realize that, some people don't. So what we do is we just, we usually send out promotions where we talk about, we send emails or give people articles where we talk about the benefits, because sometimes we falsely assume that everybody understands benefits of exercise, but if that was true, then everybody would be exercising. So we try to educate them on the benefits, and also we try to get them to, share their benefits with us if they were achieved. I remember one of the kids, he came in and he had this posture and was kind of round like this. And after maybe 6 months of something of training, he started to become taller and straighter because that's one of the side effects. You get benefits like that. And it seems like not a big deal, but if you look at what chiropractic has to say about spinal structure, it seems to be controlling everything else, or at least to a large degree. It's affecting everything else. So
well, it's back to as you said, it's back to looking good and looking graceful, and again back to the dancers. You very rarely see a dancer who is number one. I'm talking a guy who is not just disco dancing, but who is dancing waltz and tango and those type of stuff. Who is fat and overweight because they just don't let themselves go. There's the discipline factor, not only the exercise factor, and they have a great posture, and those people look good. They just look good.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and you couldn't imagine a professional dancer or of some sort, and they have a posture like a hunchback.
Right.
Exactly. Like you can't. I mean, as soon as you start doing it, even if you're not a professional, it automatically through the postures and stuff and through the training, it would improve your posture. Depending, of course, like how bad it was, and if you had scoliosis or something, you could probably improve it, but you might not, might need a little more than just martial arts to fix it. But you can definitely improve it.
Right. Well, most people probably won't have that. Most of us are just lazy, slouched, and that's it. My mom used to run around and hit me in the back all the time below the neck and say, "Stand straight." I don't know how good she was in achieving it. But let me ask you one more, question. When people at a younger age do a fair amount of exercise, something like you do and whatever it may be, personally, I'm not anymore quite as active as I really could and should be. Forget about could, should. And my wife keeps telling me that one of the reasons I'm nevertheless still quite okay, despite the fact that I'm, basically way too lazy, eat way too bad food and all that stuff, is because up till about 22 even or more, I was active, bicycling, judo, whatever kids do. I grew up more or less on a farm. So I was like a quite active guy. And she says that my muscles have been trained till that age, 20, 25 even. And by doing so, yes, they may be weaker now and letting loose, but still at age 58, the trace of the basic foundation is still there, and it really helped me. Do you think she has a point there or not?
Yeah, no, she definitely has a point, because I believe that, I've seen masters in China who are like 100 years old, and they're still spinning heavy weapons over their heads, and they are like flexible like no tomorrow. And, and then I've seen other ones who are not training anymore, but even 20 years after they stop training, they're still way beyond the normal person of muscle capacity and ability to, to move and stuff like that. And I definitely believe, like, if you put yourself in shape when you're younger and then let's say you don't do anything, you're still going to have an advantage over a person who never got himself in shape. Even if it's just by, let's say later on you want to get back into it, and, it will be a lot easier to get back into it for you than for that other person, because they've never done anything.
And I do feel like that, even though when I, for instance, go skiing, I do get obviously exhausted and the muscle pain and stuff, and I'm definitely what's called out of shape. But at the same time, the structure, the elegance, the basic. It's like they say, riding a bicycle, you never lose it anymore. It really kind of seems to be there. So it seems to be that my muscles somehow still remember how and what to do, and there they are, and it seems to be making a difference. Well, Peter, thank you very much. We're going to end this off here. Very, very informative, and I hope more people enroll in something. And I think the key you mentioned there is it's interesting every day, because for some reason you learn something, you overcome a problem, you realize you can basically handle and control your body better, and it's not the same boring 1, 2, 3 exercise where all you do is spend time on it. And I can see that makes a big difference, and people should know that, and by doing so they could find something they actually like rather than they do because we know we have to do something. Thank you very much, Peter.